it's me, Christina, and I'm here with a very hyper Willow, so you might see her pop up into the screen every once in a while. Today I am here to talk to you about all of the series I have started this year. One I actually started in December that I'm hoping to finish by the end of this year, or at least be caught up with. And to my knowledge, all of these are trilogies or duologies, with the exception of the Grishaverse, which has a trilogy, then a duology, then like another duology or trilogy, and a bunch of other little things. But I'm talking about the Shadow and Bone trilogy in this case, and then I'm going to move on from there. So I have Willow, she's super hyper, and we're going to go ahead and get started. The first duology I want to talk about is Wolf by Wolf by Graudin, and Willow's super excited to talk about this book as well, because she's descended from wolves. If you can believe it or not, this maybe 5-pound little monster is descended from wolves, aren't you, baby? Anyway, Wolf by Graudin is a duology, and it is an alternate history where the Axis powers have won World War II. And to celebrate their win every year, they host a motorcycle race from Germany to Tokyo. And the winner gets to meet Hitler. And you have this girl, Yael, who had been in a concentration camp, and she was experimented on, and as a result, she is a skin shifter. And so she takes the place of the previous victor from this bicycle race, this motorcycle race, and her goal is to assassinate Hitler, to start the rebellion, so that they can overthrow the Axis powers. This sounds like a lot. It sounds like it doesn't fit. When I first heard about it, I was like, you want to do what and what and what, and it's going to work. But just trust me on it. It works, and it works really, really well. So I read the first one last month, and I really, really enjoyed it. The second one is called Blood for Blood, and I'm really excited to read that one too. Plus, I'm just in love with the cover. This is a new version of the cover, and I like this version a lot better than the original. I don't know why. I just do. So this is a series. There's 2 of them, and I'm hoping to finish them by the end of the year. This book didn't take me that long to read. I just don't have the second one yet, but it is on my list of books that I need to buy soon. The next book duology I have is We Set the Dark on Fire by Tehlor K. Mejia. And I talked about the sequel, We Unleash the Merciless Storm, in my July Hopefuls video, because that is a book I definitely want to read in July, and I actually plan on reading it hopefully in the next week or so. So this is, I love this book. I love the concept so much. It follows a girl named Daniela, and it is in a Hispanic-based society, but it's not anywhere that we're familiar with. But it deals, and they have this system based, this caste system almost, based off of their mythology. And so they have, you know, the elite and the not so elite who live outside the wall. And Daniela is from outside the wall, but her parents have forged her documents to get her into the school inside the wall, where she is trained to be a primera. And there are primeras and segundas. And primeras are like the first wives. They practice bigamy, and so the primeras are the ones who are the very serious, the reserved, they run the household and all of that. And the segundas are the ones who are the social ones, and the ones who are decorating and flighty and all of that. And Daniela is a primera, and then her segunda is Carmen, I believe. Let me check. It does not say, but I'm pretty sure it's Carmen. I could be wrong though. And they did not get along in school, but now they are stuck together. You have this enemies to lovers romance, you have a sapphic romance, you have a bringing down the system type of thing going on. It is just wonderful. I really, really, really liked the mythology behind it. It was so unique and unlike anything I'd ever read before. Plus the integration of the Hispanic culture in a way that felt authentic and beautiful and unique, because you could tell it was Hispanic culture, but then it's like, no, but we're going to add this to make it something different as well. And that's why I really enjoyed that book, and I'm really excited to read the next one. Next, I have Firefly Lane by Kristin Henna, and this is an adult duology, and it follows two friends, Tully and I can't remember the other one's name, Kate, as they grow up from the 1970s to today, and their tumultuous friendship, their opposites attract, but they're always together, you know, thick as thieves. And you might know it from the Netflix series. I tried to watch the series. I simply couldn't get into it. I might try again. But I definitely enjoyed the book. It reminded me a lot of a friendship that I had when I was younger, which actually caused me a little, that friendship was not the best friendship, but I was glad to see that Tully and Kate were able to work past their differences. The second book, Fly Away, sounds, in my opinion, better than Firefly Lane, but I don't want to get into a lot of detail about it because it does give away major spoilers for the first book. But I definitely recommend this series. It is very emotional, punch to the gut, but written in a very beautiful way. I have another duology. I did not mean to clump, with the exception of Raybearer, all of my adult books together. I just threw the stack together, and they all just happen to be grouped together. But the next book is The Tattoo Artist of Auschwitz by Heather Morris. And I read this in a day, and I thought it was all right, but I'm really excited to read the sequel, which is called Chilka's Journey. And so this follows a man named, I read this a while ago, Leigh, who is Slovakian, and he speaks many, many languages, which means he is given the job to tattoo the prisoners who come to Auschwitz. Now, Auschwitz was the only camp that did this. People always say, oh, everybody has the tattoo if they survive. No, Auschwitz was the only place that did this. And while Leigh is there, he ends up falling in love with this beautiful woman, and it's basically their love story. And it's based on a true story, and I liked it. I just felt that had it not been based on a true story, I felt like it would have been a little unbelievable. But Chilka's Journey follows Chilka, who's one of the characters in The Tattooist of Auschwitz, not the tattoo artist, The Tattooist of Auschwitz, my apologies. And she, after liberation, she is sent to a gulag, a Soviet gulag, because she had been the lover of one of the Nazis who ran the camp, but it was not a consensual relationship. And so she is sent to the gulag. And that was the book I was interested in first because I thought it was an interesting story. But my friend was saying that you should read The Tattooist of Auschwitz first. So I read this one, and I thought it was okay, but I'm really excited for the next one. The next series I have, the first one is out now, the second one comes out in August, and then the third one probably next year. And that is The First Sister by Linden A. Lewis. And this is a sci-fi book that takes place in our galaxy, in our solar system, and it's an adult trilogy, and it follows three characters. You have the first sister, who is a priestess, and she's part of this one faction of humans in the solar system, and they believe in the goddess, and the sisters are the priestesses, and they lose the ability to speak, and they are kind of like, they are prostitutes. The soldiers sleep with them, but then they are also there so the soldiers can confess to them, and they can go into battle after giving this confession and go in without having that burden of all of their faults and everything they've done wrong weighing on their souls. And then you have another character named, I forgot the name already, Leto. And Leto is from this other faction of humans, and they are more technologically advanced. And he has to go find, he's a soldier, go find his partner, Hero, who has kind of gone off the deep end, so to speak, is rebelling against the government and the system. So Leto must go find Hero. And then you have Hero, who is a non-binary character, and you're introduced to them primarily through these audio recordings that they have left behind for Leto to understand why they are doing what they are doing. And so you have these two very unique systems. I love that it takes place in our solar system. I thought that was really unique. You also had, they couldn't go past the asteroid belt because all of those robots and technology that they had was like the Echoes and the series and everything. They kind of rebelled against their human makers, and there was a big war, and they basically said, okay, We'll go past the asteroid belt and take over all of that area, but if you go past it, then you're going to be in some deep trouble. So I'm really excited to see where this book goes. It has a really unique world building, but I still like that it's kind of close to home. So it's a sci-fi world, but it's still a close to home sci-fi world. And I can't wait to see how the next book goes. I actually need to pre-order that one soon. My next one is a book that I actually don't have my physical copy of with me. I listened to the audiobook because I wasn't sure if I would like it, and I fell in love. I ordered a copy. I pre-ordered the next one, and I'm just waiting for it to get here. And that is Raybearer by Jordan Ifueko. And Raybearer is a young adult book. I don't know how many there's going to be. There's going to be at least 2 because the next one comes out in a few weeks. And it follows Tattooist, who is being raised by a woman she only knows as the Lady. And everything that she is being raised for is to get her ready to go to the Crown Prince's court so that she can join his Ray, which is kind of, I describe it kind of like the Borg, but with like choice and freedom and autonomy still. So it is one person from each of the countries under this kingdom, or groups of people. So I have a very excited Willow with me. And they join in the prince's Ray and eventually the king's Ray, and he becomes king, and that makes the king immortal. He can't die. He's not immortal. He will still die from old age, but he can't be like poisoned or anything unless it's by someone in his Ray. And they are his council, and they can share their thoughts with each other and everything. And the point is that they all rule. They advise the king as he rules. But Tattooist is being raised so that when she goes, she will kill the crown prince. And so it's her trying to overcome this. You have a beautiful, beautiful African society, and I loved it. The audiobook is definitely the way to go. The narrator is phenomenal, but I loved it so much that I needed my own physical copy on my shelves. I ordered the second book as a physical copy as well, but I still might do the audio book for it as well. We have Willow. You can see she is just so wired. She wants to chew on my fingers, which is so not cool. So, yeah, Raybearer, and I definitely think you should check it out. It's probably one of my favorites that I've read so far this year. Next is a duology that I actually started in December, and I got the next one, I think it was a Valentine's Day gift from Instagram, but that is the Beartown duology, and the first one is loaned out, so I only have the second one with me, by Friedrich Bachmann. And this book, the first one is just gorgeous, and it follows a small town in Norway called, I think it's Sweden, my apologies, called Beartown, and hockey is like the way of life, just like in some southern towns here in America. It is all about high school football. It's all about hockey. And one of the local girls in the town accuses one of the hockey players of a horrible, horrible crime. And then it becomes a he said, she said, and it destroys their chance of going to like this championship game, and it just becomes this big thing, and it tears the whole town apart. The second book deals with the same town, still reeling from the aftermath of these accusations as their hockey team starts to fall apart, just because of size and all of that. And they are forced to consolidate with their rivals in a nearby town. And so then these two groups that have previously not liked each other have to come together and work together. And I don't think I'm going to like it quite as much as Beartown, but I did love Beartown a lot. So I'm still excited to go and check this book out. I'm probably going to read it over the winter just because hockey, winter vibes, all of that. And I mean, right now it's like 98 degrees here, so not really time for a cozy little winter read. But December, I'll probably read this book. Next, I have the ever-popular Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. And I know that there's like a trilogy, then a duology, then a trilogy, and then a this, and then a Willow. So I'm just going to talk about the original 3 Grishaverse books because that's what I have. And this book takes place in this universe. What I liked about it was inspired by Russia. You're going to notice this trend with some of the books that I have, where they're kind of inspired by countries and civilizations we have today. And they have, it's a magical society, and the main character, Alina, she joins this she's part of a group of soldiers who are going across the Fold, which is this dark swath in the middle of their country, and it is very dangerous, and there's like dangerous creatures, and it's hard to survive. And while in the Fold, she discovers she has this great magical power. So she's sent to the court where she can train and kind of hone in these magical powers so that she can maybe save them and destroy the Fold. Of course, things are not as they seem, and it gets more complicated than that. There was a lot of hype around this book, so I was really worried, but I wanted to read it because I wanted to watch the show, and I definitely enjoyed it. I have the other two up on the top of my shelf. You can't really see it, and I'm excited to read those as well. It was a quick read for me, but definitely one worth checking out. The next trilogy I have is Scythe by Neal Schusterman, and this is a really unique world where people don't die. They've overcome immortality. But you have these people called Scythes, and their job is to go around and glean people or kill them to keep the population down. And the two main characters, Graudin and Citra, are selected to apprentice a Scythe and learn about how to become a Scythe. And of course, they learn that the Scythe job, it's actually not as glamorous. Not that it would be glamorous, but Scythes were very much respected. But then there's this dark, really dark side to Scythes as well, and they start to learn about that. And it's such an interesting, unique world. And I have the first one and the second one. I've heard the third one is kind of meh, but I really liked it. I liked the world a lot, and I keep saying I'm going to read the next one. I'm going to read the next one. I just haven't gotten to it yet, but I really need to step up and get to that book as soon as possible. The last duology I have, I just finished the first one last night, and that is Mirage by Somaiya Daud. This is a North African-based sci-fi, but it's not like super sci-fi, but it is Afrofuturist, where you have the main character Amani, and at her coming-of-age ceremony, she is abducted and taken to the royal palace. And she's really worried because her planet, her moon, have been taken over by the Vath. And the Vath basically destroyed their planet through pollution and all of that, and they came and they took over this planet where Amani lives. And Amani is a dead ringer for the crown princess named Mirage, and everybody hates the crown princess. She's mean, she's cold, they hate her, they hate the Vath, they don't like them. So Amani is told that she will be the body double for Mirage, going out in public and going to events that are too dangerous for Mirage to go to on her own. And while doing this, Amani is of course recruited for the rebellion. She falls in love, all of the typical stuff. I loved it. I love that it was sci-fi, but not super sci-fi. I love that the cover is just gorgeous. The second cover is even more beautiful. And I love that it was based on this North African society. So the second one is out in hardback, but I wanted to get paperback because the paperback covers match in terms of appearance and vibe. So this, I pre-ordered, I believe, the next one, and it comes out in August in paperback, and I'm super excited to get my hands on it. So there you have it, guys. Those are all of the books that I'm hoping, all the series, duologies, they all are duologies or trilogies that I'm hoping to finish by the end of the year, or at least be caught up on in the case of the first sister. Make sure to like and subscribe, and then comment down below with a series that you hope to finish or get all caught up on by the end of the year. Until then, stay safe. Bye, guys.